There are films that ask questions, and there are films that become questions. Nightcrawler does not comfort, it doesn't resolve. Instead, it lingers. It itches. It leaves you with a sickness you can't name. Because somewhere in this story of ambition and media and blood, it reveals something we already know, but refuse to admit, that the world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards hunger. And Nightcrawler is a film about hunger. Louis Bloom is not a villain in the traditional sense. He doesn't murder in cold blood. He doesn't steal for pleasure. He doesn't even curse. He's articulate, polite. In many ways, he's what society claims it wants. Self-taught, hard-working, entrepreneurial. But that's the first horror of the film. That Lou Bloom is a monster made entirely from the raw materials of the American dream. His darkness is not some glitch in the system. It is the system working perfectly. Lou embodies a world where morality is a luxury, not a prerequisite, where people are resources, where emotions are inefficiencies. He doesn't operate on empathy, but on utility. If something doesn't serve a purpose, it's discarded. And if someone gets in the way of the goal, they become part of the story, preferably face down on the sidewalk with good lighting. We are watching merit without morality, and in a capitalist society, merit wins. At its core, Nightcrawler is a meditation on the media not as a public service, but as a marketplace. What's valuable is not what's true, but what sells. And what sells? Fear. Fear sells better than love, better than kindness, better than facts. Crime, tragedy, chaos. These are not things to be prevented. They're content. Nina, the news director, becomes a haunting parallel to Lou. She's not killing anyone, but she's paying someone who will get close enough to the bodies that we might as well call him a vulture. Lou brings her death, and she gives him dollars. It's not seduction, it's transaction. When Lou says, "A friend is a gift you give yourself," it's chilling. But when Nina trades integrity for ratings, it's worse. Because we realize, this isn't just Lou's sickness. It's shared. The camera doesn't blink, and neither do we. One of the most disturbing questions Nightcrawler raises is this: when does witnessing become complicity? There's a moment in the film when Lou arrives at a crime scene before the police. A triple homicide. Instead of calling 911, he moves the bodies, adjusts the lighting, frames the shot. Because in his mind, he's not capturing reality. He's creating a product. This isn't journalism. It's cinematography. And yet, the news station airs it. This is not about one man's sociopathy. It's about how systems silently allow evil to thrive, not by condoning it, but by rewarding it. The more graphic Lou's footage gets, the more his career rises. He doesn't have to ask, "Is this right?" Because the checks keep clearing. Philosopher Michel Foucault explored how power isn't just imposed from above. It's internalized. Surveillance, norms, visibility. These are the subtle forces that shape behavior. In Nightcrawler, the camera becomes a weapon of power, not a tool of truth. Lou watches, records, exposes, but never cares. He controls the narrative simply by being the first one to film it. In Foucault's world, the panopticon teaches people to behave because they think they're being watched. In Lou Bloom's world, people bleed and die because he's the one watching, and the system doesn't punish him. It promotes him, and the world just keeps watching. Lou doesn't have a personality. He has a pitch. He doesn't relate. He recites. Everything about him feels learned, practiced, polished like a LinkedIn profile. He talks in motivational slogans. He negotiates like a YouTube entrepreneur. It's as if he has no inner world, only output. But that, too, is a form of horror. Because in late capitalism, authenticity itself becomes a product. You don't need to be good. You need to look professional. Lou doesn't understand people. He studies them. He mimics them. His politeness is not compassion. It's camouflage. This isn't a psychological drama. It's a philosophical one. Lou's identity is a performance for a system that never asked him to be human, only productive. Perhaps the most disturbing evolution in the film is how people around Lou stop being people altogether. Rick, the young assistant, starts off as an equal. But soon, he becomes an employee, then an inconvenience, then a liability. Finally, he becomes a story. There is a moment near the climax that perfectly captures the film's ethical collapse, when Lou lets Rick walk into danger to get a better shot. And when Rick is gunned down, Lou doesn't panic. He frames the shot. He immortalizes the body. He captures the moment. What does it mean to live in a world where your death is worth more than your life? Lou doesn't kill Rick with a gun. He kills him with a business model. The greatest trick Nightcrawler pulls is making you think this is a film about a sociopath, when in fact it's a film about us. It's about what happens when we mistake profit for progress, when we conflate ambition with value, when we forget that not every opportunity should be taken, that not every shot should be filmed. Lou Bloom is a monster, but he is not the exception. He is the natural endpoint of a world that tells young men, you are what you can sell. You are what you produce. You're the hustle. He is not a glitch in the Matrix. He's the code. Nightcrawler doesn't offer redemption. There's no lesson learned, no moral awakening. Lou doesn't suffer consequences. He expands, hires more interns, gets better gear. He becomes what every ambitious young man is told to become, successful. But at what cost? The cost is invisible. It is emotional erosion, ethical numbness, the slow death of empathy. What Nightcrawler asks is not, are you like Lou, but how much of Lou do you reward every day? What stories do you click on? What pain do you consume for entertainment? What darkness do you ignore, so long as it's packaged well? In the end, Nightcrawler is not just about media. It's about the dark alchemy of capitalism, how it turns blood into profit, death into ratings, people into data points, how it breeds monsters not in the shadows, but under the lights. And most haunting part, Lou Bloom smiles through it all.